Hello, welcome to Meat Academy Online. My name is Brandon, his name is Dana, and we are recording our podcast quarantine special, episode 53.
Yeah, 53, and that's right. Our government have decided to freak out again because there's a few cases.
And that's the way it goes. Better to be safe than sorry, I suppose.
So today we're going to have another news chat, talk about what's going on in the world of entertainment. Since there's been quite a bit that's been happening lately, we wanted to sort of just give our thoughts and views on some of these things that have been happening.
So, found out news about the Mandalorian star Gina Carano being fired off the Mandalorian and subsequent Star Wars spin-off series. She was positioned to be continuing on that role in The Bad Batch. I think was another Star Wars TV spin-off, Star Wars show TV spin-off that they were developing. But since she's come out and said some inappropriate things on her Twitter or social media, Disney have said, no, see ya. Cancel culture continues. This happened yesterday. But yeah, this has sort of been happening to a lot of, quite a number of people over the past
especially I think everything, because we're in a very sensitive climate at the moment with a lot of things that have been happening. Obviously it's not just in the entertainment world, and it's what's been happening a lot of everywhere, every industry.
Well, most industries, a lot of industries. You can't really hide from being inappropriate anymore. Well, you run the risk of running into trouble.
A very sensitive area for all of these businesses to be in, because it's all about public perception, really, and you don't want to be seen leaning either side of any debate. Really, you want to be very central,
exactly, and humble.
That's right. So it's like everyone wants to stay out of anything that is very contentious, but they also want to be seen as anything. They also want to be seen as caring and understanding. Yeah,
well, it makes sense, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, it just kind of reminds me of like being in school again.
Yeah. Yep.
And now that we all have social media and everyone's connected to everyone, and there's quite a domino effect with that sort of, trending behavior and stuff like that, and just when you're in a position like that where you're an influential person on society, I think it does benefit you to not state your public or your true thoughts.
Anyone that is in a role of power, I guess that anyone. So this is any celebrity, anyone who is seen by the general public. I think there is a responsibility to be. Try and stay out of this stuff as much as possible, even though it's very hard to, for the normal person, they can bang on about anything that's very political and no one really cares. But
of course,
when you're in a role where you've got people looking upon you and idolizing you in some cases, I think there's a responsibility to back off a lot of those views, because you do have that power and you've got.
I mean,
you've got the ability to sway people's opinion, when I think people should be able to make their own opinions on things, educated opinions, instead of everyone just having to sit in camps.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, that's the problem with social media and stuff like that these days, is because it is a thing, and it allows that behavior to snowball, and it's the arse end of society, really. Like, social media is just one of those things. Like, it's not really a positive or a negative. It's just a thing now that gets used for both ways. But when you're a brand like Disney, I suppose you've got a certain level of responsibility and a brand awareness. Like, you don't see Nike or some other big name brand spouting, like employees, or I don't know. I'm just trying to think about something. Like, I don't know, you don't really see big brands going out there stating their political views, well, more so than not. And Disney rightfully so, very controlling of that perception, their public perception, and they need to uphold their
Yeah,
standards.
absolutely. Because it's
Which makes sense.
Disney is a very, very powerful brand. They've got a lot of love. They do get a lot of hate, but they also have a responsibility to uphold the family-friendly, sort of approach that they've got, and that reputation where it is for everyone, and it's a place you can go to escape, the real world, and try and, as much as possible, keep out of the political sphere as possible, and just focus on what matters in society, and focus on the positives that a brand like Disney can bring in the right situations.
Yeah, and Disney, just to wrap it up, I suppose. I mean, not everyone's perfect. People make mistakes, but I'm sure she was warned. It's not the first time she's done it, so I'm sure they probably said, maybe don't do that. And she's gone ahead and done it a few more times, and I mean, that's the way it's gone. And obviously, I think she might have been a bit self-sabotaging as well. Maybe we don't know the whole story, and we won't know the whole story.
Yeah, that's
so
right. The only thing,
she's
the
lost
only
her
thing
role.
that sort of throws me out with this whole thing is that she does have representation. She will have a team. She'd have a HR person. She'd have all these people who should, an agent. All these people that should be saying, righto, stop it.
Do you want to lose your job? Like, this is a good bloody job you got right now. This is going to lead to bigger things possibly as well.
It is one of those breakout roles that if you can nail it and keep to it, then you're set. You can start building your career from there, because any breakout show like this that gets such a huge cult following, it's something you really want to hold on to. It's the same reason why all the Marvel characters, it's a big deal when you get picked for a Marvel role. And if you can keep that role, you can see what happens to all of the stars in any Marvel film. They have huge, giant careers. A lot of careers have been built off the Marvel, and by extension, the Disney roles.
Exactly.
So I guess that this unfortunately is something that. Yeah, as you're saying, she has caused herself, and this could potentially unravel her career moving forward. So I guess time will tell where this goes from here.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap that up.
Move on. What's the next bit of news?
The other news was, the lead actor out of Mandalorian, Pedro Pascal, he's landed the role of Joel from Last of Us, the video game TV show that's coming onto HBO, which I've been so excited to see the development of this TV show. And with each little bit of news that's been dripping out over the past year or so, haven't really gone the way that I intended or would have liked. I'm not saying it's the worst, because I do like him as an actor, but I don't think he embodies the Joel character from the video game. I mean, he's an actor, so he can put it on, but I just feel like he's not the best fit for it. Time will tell as well. And same with Ellie, the girl that they chose to play Ellie. She is also the same thing for me. She was in Game of Thrones. I know who she is. And I don't feel she's quite the right fit either. So they're both kind of a misfit that's sort of been crowbarred into this, I feel, show. But I'm still looking forward to see how it pans out. But, even the director, the guy that was going to direct the show, he dropped out as well months ago. And he did the Chernobyl TV show, which I absolutely loved, and I thought he was the perfect fit. But obviously he wasn't. Creative differences or whatever happened behind the scenes. So
I think,
anyway,
the real question for me is how true to the original story or the original IP are they going to stay? Because this sounds like they're going to departure quite a bit from that original
It was supposed to be. It was supposed to be the first video
Yeah,
game.
yeah. It's going to be very interesting.
But yeah, well, I guess we'll just see how it pans out.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to really, because I guess if I was to make that as a TV show, I would have tried to, I guess, try and stay as close in terms of the characters and the environments as possible. Obviously, you can play around with the story to make it fit a more traditional narrative structure. But
Yeah. Well, there's plenty there.
I thought the art design was pretty much there. Was pretty much they've got a style, and that's one thing that you want to try and stay true to keep the fans. And it sounds like they're departing quite a bit from what what it will look like at the end. So we'll see, I guess, how it'll turn out.
Time will tell if it's going to be just another TV show or it's going to be the next big thing.
Yeah, because I guess we both are looking at those characters and saying, right, I'm not sure about that. But at the same time, we could end up having this conversation after the fact and saying, wow, they pulled it off. Wow. We couldn't see it, but obviously someone did. So
Yeah, that's always a good thing when that happens. So yeah, I'll just put all my desires and my vision for the show aside and just wait for it to come out and just
one of
watch
my
it.
big pet
there.
peeves are when they literally cast someone just because they're their big name at the time. So let's hope that that's not going to be this case, and that the character does actually fit the artistic direction for the film. Yeah, there's one other thing which I don't know if I don't know how much you've heard about it, but there's been this whole Gamestop situation. So a lot of people, it has made the traditional news, but there's a lot of people who are not sure exactly what's going on. But
No, I saw a headline about it, but I didn't know what it was about.
So basically, I'll give you a rundown, and I will get back to the film side of things at the end of this, but I'll just give everyone basically a rundown of what's happened. So basically, in the sort of in the finance world, there is a company called Gamestop, and they basically sell computer games. They're just like, for us, it's like an EB. And basically what's happened there is that they were pinned to be one of these failing companies and they weren't going to do very well. So basically the story is that we had these big finance guys that were trying to short the stock, which basically means they're betting that the company will do bad. And they make money off the company doing bad. So what's happened is that... Reddit saw this and said, we want to stick it to you guys, and basically decided to all go in one hit, buy heaps of GameStop stock, and basically make the price of the stock go up, which in turn means that these big finance companies are actually going to lose heaps of money. So this has been happening over the last week, and it's been this big deal. But the interesting thing about it is that we're getting a bunch of people who are actually a bunch of film companies such as Netflix and HBO and now want to actually make a film or a TV show about this story.
About it.
And so we might be seeing in a year or two a big giant... We'll see a bunch of these films come out about this story. So it's going to be very interesting. Yeah.
It's going to be like the next kind of... The Big Short or something.
Yeah, it is. And it's
series.
The other thing is AMC, who we've talked about in the past on this channel. Basically, AMC is the big cinema chain over there. Very similar thing happened around the same time with AMC, and that actually had meant that AMC were able to make a shit ton of money and are actually fine now financially. They've made enough money to keep them going through to the end of the year. So there is a upside to this huge Reddit flush, all these people online buying all this stock. So very interesting days.
Madness. That's Dana with the finance.
That's it.
Let's move on to... There's a True Lies TV show in the works at the moment at CBS. Yeah. So there's another bit of news I thought I'd just drop. It's probably going to be another TV show with the same name as the movie, and it's just going to depend on the actors and what tone they're going for.
At the end of the day, it always seems to
anyway.
come down to the art, all the art side of things. So
Yeah,
and the story and the characters and all of that.
The Borderlands.
Oh, really?
movie,
I didn't hear about this one.
They've just cast Jack Black as Claptrap.
That's going to be very... Oh, okay, I can see that. That was my character. I'd always play that character.
Yeah, I mean, Claptrap's got a very whimsical...
Yeah.
You know, Jack Black doesn't quite have the same sense of humour.
No.
Or the same kind of tone and stuff like as that character, but he can make it his own. And, you know, ultimately it's going to be a video game movie that's not going to be... You know, replicating the exact.
Yeah, they're gonna have some fun because that
thing.
I mean, that's one of those games that is just a bit of a fun, silly thing. Really, it's.
It is just silly. Like I don't take it 1% serious at all.
And there's no like serious.
I know there's a lot of fans that are getting a bit,
you
know, funny about it.
Yeah, it's not one that has a serious. There's no big story arc or anything like that that's involved with it. It's just an excuse to run around and have some fun, shoot some people, shoot some
exactly.
things.
So I don't know what kind of movie they're going to make out of it.
Yeah, well, interesting.
But they also
times.
got Kevin Hart in it, so Jack Black and Kevin Hart again, just like Jumanji.
It sounds like they're going to do a very Jumanji kind of approach to it, where they're just going to have some fun and then they're just not going to really care. So. Don't know, it might work. Jumanji's done really well for themselves when they revamped that, or rebooted it. So we'll see how this one goes. Strange. Anyway, I guess we'll leave it there. So thanks for watching / listening, depending on where you're listening or watching us. And we'll see you in the next one.
Indeed, and adios.
Thanks for watching Mini Academy Online. If you'd like to explore more of our content, click on this or click on that. Like and subscribe, thumbs up, ring bells, do a dance, sing a song, drink a hot cup of tea or coffee, and I'll see you in the next one.